8 features that come enabled by default on virtually every TV sold in 2026 are actively making your picture worse. Not slightly worse, significantly worse. The colors are wrong. The motion looks artificial. The contrast is crushed. And the manufacturers know this because the same features that are ruining home pictures are turned off in every professional review environment and every cinema reference monitor. Today I am exposing all 8 features, explaining exactly why they exist, and showing you how to disable them in less than 5 minutes regardless of what TV brand you own. By the end of this video, your TV will look dramatically better than it did this morning, and you will understand why the industry shipped it broken in the first place. Some of these are obvious. Some are hidden in submenus designed to discourage you from finding them. Let us decode them all. Subscribe because I expose this kind of manipulation every week. Drop a comment with your TV brand and model. I want to help you specifically navigate the menus to find these settings. Let us decode. Feature number 1 is motion smoothing. This is the most universally hated and universally enabled feature on modern TVs. Samsung calls it Auto Motion Plus, LG calls it True Motion. Sony calls it Motion Flow. TCL and Hisense use various names. Every brand ships it enabled by default at varying intensity levels. Motion smoothing inserts artificial frames between the real frames of source content. The TV calculates what an intermediate frame should look like and inserts it. This creates the appearance of higher frame rates, which sounds beneficial, but the effect on cinema content is destructive. Movies are shot at 24 frames per second deliberately. The slight motion blur and the specific feel of 24 frames per second is what gives film its cinematic quality. When motion smoothing inserts frames into a 24 frame per second movie, it transforms the cinematic look into what is commonly called the soap opera effect. Movies look like daytime television. The transformation is dramatic and consistently identified by film professionals as the single worst default setting in consumer TVs. Christopher Nolan, Tom Cruise, James Gunn, and dozens of other directors have publicly called for motion smoothing to be disabled. The reason it remains on by default is that manufacturers sell TVs based on showroom demonstrations. And motion smoothing looks impressive on demo content even though it ruins actual movies. How to disable it? On Samsung, go to Settings, Picture Expert Settings, Picture Clarity Settings, and turn off Auto Motion Plus. On LG, go to Settings, Picture Advanced Settings, and turn off True Motion. On Sony, go to Settings, Picture, Motion, and turn off Motion Flow. The change is dramatic and immediately visible. Feature number 2 is Edge Enhancement, also called Sharpness Boost or Edge Sharpening. This feature artificially increases the apparent sharpness of the image by adding contrast at the edges of objects. The intention is to make the picture look more detailed and crisp. The actual effect on 4K content from modern sources is destructive. Modern 4K streaming and Blu-ray content does not need edge enhancement because the source material already contains adequate detail. When edge enhancement is applied to already detailed content, the result is a halo effect around objects, exaggerated edges, and what looks like cheap digital sharpening overlaid on the picture. The image looks artificial rather than detailed. The feature was originally designed for low-resolution content like analog cable broadcasts and DVDs, where artificial sharpening could compensate for genuinely soft source material. For modern content, this compensation is unnecessary and harmful. Manufacturers leave the feature enabled at high values because it makes TVs look sharper in showroom demonstrations. But the showroom demo content is specifically chosen to make sharpening look good. To disable, find the sharpness setting in your picture menu, typically under Advanced Settings. Set sharpness to 0 on Samsung TVs. Set sharpness to between 10 and 25 on LG TVs, depending on whether the TV is on the pixel refresh standard. Set sharpness to 50 on Sony TVs, which is the neutral midpoint on Sony's scale. Lower than these values can soften the picture too much. Higher values introduce artificial edge enhancement. Feature number 3 is noise reduction. This includes digital noise reduction, MPEG noise reduction, and various other terms used by different brands. The feature attempts to remove visual noise and compression artifacts from the source material. For low-quality sources like older streaming content or analog cable, noise reduction can be marginally helpful. For modern high-quality sources, it is universally harmful. Modern 4K streaming and Blu-ray content contains intentional film grain in many cases, which is part of the artistic intent of the content. Movies often include film grain to evoke specific cinematic eras or visual styles. Noise reduction removes this intentional grain, smoothing the image in ways the director did not intend. The result is content that looks plasticky and overprocessed. Even worse, noise reduction can remove fine detail that is part of the actual image, not just noise. Facial details, fabric textures, and subtle background elements get smoothed away. The TV cannot perfectly distinguish between noise and detail, so it removes both. For modern content, sets all noise reduction features to off or low at most. Never use the high setting on any modern source material. The slight noise that remains is intentional and looks more natural than the over-smoothed alternative. Feature number 4 is dynamic contrast, also called contrast enhancement or adaptive contrast. This feature analyzes the image and adjusts contrast levels dynamically to make the picture appear more vivid. The intention is to enhance the visual impact of the content. The actual effect is to crush shadow detail, blow out highlights, and shift colors from their intended values. Dynamic contrast forces the TV to deviate from the calibrated values that the content was mastered for. Movies and TV shows are produced with specific contrast levels in mind. When you enable dynamic contrast, you are letting the TV's algorithms override the creator's choices. The result is content that looks different from what was intended, often dramatically so. Dark scenes lose their detail because the TV crushes the blacks to look more contrasty. Bright scenes lose detail because the TV blows out highlights. Skin tones shift because the color balance is being modified. The feature was designed for showroom demonstrations where high contrast looks impressive on demo content. For actual viewing of actual content, it should always be disabled. Find dynamic contrast in the advanced picture menu and turn it off completely. Some brands hide this setting in expert menus that require navigation through multiple submenus. The hiding is deliberate. Manufacturers do not want the average consumer to find these settings because they want the impressive but inaccurate picture as the default experience. Halfway through and your TV is about to look dramatically better. Subscribe because I keep exposing these defaults every week. Let me show you the rest. Feature number 5 is local contrast enhancement and black level enhancement. These are similar features that operate on different parts of the image. Local contrast enhancement adjusts contrast in specific areas of the screen dynamically. Black level enhancement specifically pushes dark areas darker. Both features cause similar problems. They override the intended color and contrast values of the source material. They crush shadow detail in dark areas. They make the picture look more contrasty in ways that initially appear impressive but become tiring over extended viewing. The features can cause noticeable banding and gradient transitions, where smooth changes from light to dark areas become visible bands of distinct shades. This is particularly noticeable in night scenes and sunset sequences. To disable, find local contrast or black level enhancement in the expert settings. Set both to off or low. Plus, picture will look initially less impressive because you are losing the artificial contrast boost, but the actual detail and accuracy of the picture will improve significantly. After a few days of viewing, the calibrated picture will look more natural, and the previously enabled enhancements will look exaggerated. Feature number 6 is color gamut expansion, sometimes called color enhancer or wide color. This feature artificially saturates colors to make them appear more vivid. Reds become more red. Greens become more green. Blues become more blue. The intention is to create a more impactful picture. The actual effect is to push colors past their intended values, creating an unnatural appearance. Modern HDR content is already mastered in wide color gamuts including DCI-P3 and Rec 2020. The source material contains all the color information needed for accurate, vivid reproduction. Color gamut expansion adds saturation on top of already saturated colors, resulting in cartoonish appearance. Skin tones look orange or red, foliage looks artificially green, skies look exaggerated. The feature exists for the same showroom reason as the others. Vivid demo content looks more impressive than naturally colored content. For accurate viewing of actual content, disable color gamut expansion. The picture will appear less vivid initially, but will be displaying the actual intended colors. After adjustment, you will see that the previous enhanced colors were actually inaccurate. Feature number 7 is AI Picture Mode, also called Smart Picture Mode, or various brand-specific terms. This feature uses AI algorithms to automatically detect the type of content being displayed and adjust picture settings accordingly. The intention is to optimize the picture for each type of content. The actual effect varies dramatically by content type. AI Picture Mode is the most invasive automatic adjustment system on modern TV. It modifies contrast, sharpness, color, motion, and other settings simultaneously, based on its algorithm's interpretation of what is being shown. The results are inconsistent and frequently inaccurate. The AI might detect a movie as sports content and apply motion smoothing and color enhancement. It might detect a documentary as a movie and apply unnecessary processing. It might detect a streaming show as old content and apply noise reduction inappropriately. The picture changes constantly as the AI reevaluates content. This makes consistent picture quality impossible because the settings are always shifting. Manual picture modes provide consistent picture quality with adjustments calibrated to specific content types. Movie or cinema mode is the most accurate for film content. Standard or custom mode allows manual adjustment. AI picture mode should be disabled for serious viewing. The feature is useful as a default for casual viewers who do not want to think about picture settings. But for anyone who cares about picture quality, the manual modes are dramatically more accurate. Feature number 8 is Eco Mode, also called Energy Saving Mode or various efficiency-focused terms. This feature reduces brightness and adjusts other settings to lower power consumption. The intention is to save energy. The actual effect is to make HDR content look terrible. HDR requires high brightness to deliver its full effect. The bright highlights are part of the artistic intent. Sun glints, explosions, neon signs, and other bright elements need to be genuinely bright on screen to create the impact they are designed for. Eco Mode caps the maximum brightness at significantly lower levels than the TV can actually produce. The HDR experience is undermined completely. Bright scenes look dim. Detail is lost in highlights because the TV is unable to push brightness to the levels the content requires. The HDR metadata is overridden by the energy-saving target. For HDR content, Eco Mode should always be disabled. The energy savings are minimal compared to the picture quality cost. A modern TV in normal operation uses approximately 100 to 200 watts. Eco Mode might reduce this by 30 to 50 watts. The annual cost difference for a typical household viewing pattern is approximately $15 to $30. This is a trivial cost compared to the value of the TV you paid $1,000 to $3,000 for. Pay the extra electricity. Get the picture quality you bought the TV for. Here is the overall approach to optimizing your TV picture. First, switch to movie or cinema picture mode for content viewing. This mode disables most of the destructive default features and provides the closest approximation to the picture as the content creator intended. Second, manually disable any remaining destructive features that the movie mode does not handle. Motion smoothing should be off. Sharpness should be at appropriate values. Noise reduction should be off or low. Dynamic contrast and black enhancement should be off. Color gamut expansion should be off. AI picture mode should be off. Eco mode should be off for HDR content. Third, calibrate brightness for your room. The TV should be bright enough that highlights look bright but not so bright that dark scenes lose their depth. Most modern TVs in movie mode will provide approximately correct brightness automatically, but adjust if needed. Fourth, accept that the initial change will feel less impressive than the default settings. The default settings are designed to look impressive in brief showroom demonstrations. The calibrated settings are designed to deliver accurate, consistent picture quality over hours of viewing. After a few days, the calibrated settings will look more natural and the default settings will look exaggerated. 8 features, all enabled by default, all actively ruining your picture quality. The TV industry ships TVs configured for showroom impact, not for accurate home viewing. Now you know exactly what to change. If this transformed your TV experience, subscribe and share this with anyone who owns a modern TV. Drop a comment telling me which feature surprised you the most. I want to see which manipulation is most widespread. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.